They live a Zen life. It's everything. It's very uncertain, and all lives are uncertain, but actors know it. And actors, because you're unemployed so often, and you live so intensely in the moments that you are working, that when you come back to Earth and look around, and that balloon has gone, and there's no other one on the horizon, so you live where you are. I think actors live exactly where they are, the really good ones. And that's why they seem kind of crazy.
We all should be there. Isn't that where we should all want to be?
But they're really, yes, I think so. I think it's an authentic way to live, yeah.
First, I don't believe in limits. And I love a challenge. So I love trying new things. Like, it's not wrong to believe in yourself. It's not wrong. So even if you don't, quote unquote, succeed, it's like, so you're going to make fun of me because I believed in myself and I tried? It's about just trying different things and wanting to grow. And I always say, if God placed me there, then I have no choice but to be prepared. In the company I'm in, I consider it greatness that I must be among, and that drives me, and being around different people's passions, and that intrigues me. And that's one of my favorite things about what I do. Everybody, I say, has a superpower. Hearing and being around other people and hearing about your passion is what drives me. And that intrigues me, and it gets me intrigued in that. And then I go home and then I make like I'm you, and you. You know what I mean? That was my creativity. And so I live my life in that way, and it's blessed me to be able to achieve a lot of amazing things. No one knows your potential the way you do. Someone once told me, if someone don't see your dream, that's because they can't dream as big as you do. Most of all, I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it because this is my passion. I'm doing it because I love this. I'm doing it because it's my calling, and creating my own goal for my purpose of doing it. And you got to be careful with what you set in your mind. That taught me not to allow people to interrupt your faith with their doubt. Baby, you gonna sit over there with your doubt. This is what's gonna happen. And when you can learn, you grow, right? Don't let someone interrupt your faith with their doubt. Because I know what's in store for me, or I know what I have my mind made up to do.
I could venture to say that all of the best moments of my life derive from boredom. Everything really valuable in my life. If I wasn't alone with myself and getting bored, I wouldn't have thought of that, which led me to that. And I see all people on the bus now. In New York City, you see people waiting for a bus all the time. They're all looking down, and they're on the bus and they're looking at, whatever they're doing. They could be writing their sister a beautiful poem. What do I know what they're doing? The point is, it all seems fun at the time, but without any boredom, our imagination can't play. And I think that who we are as people is expressed through our creativity. No matter what it is you're doing in your life, there's a certain thing that's happening in your brain, which is nature manifest in you and me. I mean, if you don't let that breathe,
by being alone with yourself.
And it's not something anybody really wants to do. I mean, I understand. I do it too, man. I was on the ride over here, and I'm, hey, can I get a Wi-Fi on my phone? What the hell? I have like 10 seconds where I'm not entertained. And you have to kind of, I really struggle with it.
I believe that acting is a craft, and a very difficult one, and a very taxing one, and one that you never stop learning completely. And I think we understand it, and everybody accepts it in the other performing arts. A musician who stops rehearsing or practicing will be in trouble. A dancer who stops studying is in trouble. They can't even get on stage. And I think that we realize that everywhere else except in acting, and I believe it's exactly the same thing. I am on a constant bandwagon and feel passionately about this, and get in despair about what I think the theater, what acting could be and isn't most of the time. I think the obligation of the actor is to learn how to be on stage, whether it be in Shakespeare or Moliere or Clifford Odets or Neil Simon, a human being, first and last, a human being, that human being that the author has posed on the page. And I think the sadness with the theater is that actors learn to copy other actors. And they learn to the point where if they pride themselves in college, if they walk down the street, that they are recognized as an actor, which means that they're phony. They're not human beings. You know that they're an actor because they behave peculiarly. And many of them aspire for on the stage is to be like other actors rather than like human beings. And I think that's the hardest thing in the world to learn and is not pursued enough. And there are many, many schools of acting, and the one that I'm always against is the one that is recognized, it's predictably an actor on stage.
Be able to create it instead of leaving that and going to yourself. I want you to know that it is more interesting for the actor to use his imagination than it is for him to use his experience. And since his experience is going to be in his imagination anyway, he can't leave it out. He doesn't have to say, I will be so kosher that I will leave this and go someplace else. You understand? If you say, the lemons are wonderful, look at them. Oh, they're really larger, aren't they? I don't have to say, are they larger? Wait a minute, I saw a lemon yesterday in my house. What is that? I was playing a lead in a play, and I had to pick up a lemon. I said, what does a lemon look like at home? I said, I'm in trouble. I didn't do it for more than a minute, though. So I can see all kinds of lemons, and I know what lemons are. I don't think they're oranges or pears, but I can see them. I can see that that's better for me than leaving that circumstance and running around like a... Okay, you got the point? You got the point.
You know, I just imagine I'm a knight and I start riffing on this idea and you start, you know, the best person I've ever seen do this is Denzel Washington, about coming up with a backstory for his character. You know, like straight up simple acting 101 is you write your own character's biography, and through, okay, so what are my parents? What are their uncle? What's my favorite color? Do I like ice cream? Why don't I like ice cream? Blah, blah. You come up with this as rich imaginative life as you can, and then that'll come across. That's how what I've done as an actor, and that's spilled off into my writing, is what I'm trying to say, is that turned into how I got into creative writing, is writing character biographies.
I try and figure out where he was born, what his educational background is, what he's done in his life up to that point, the kinds of foods that he likes, why he has the relationships with certain kinds of people. It gives you a certain intellectual level to work from. It tells you whether he's had one or more parents, and the kind of love that you can make up for that person that totally accounts for how he reacts to other people. Yeah. So you get to make up things that form a real person. Now, whether you get to use those things on screen, verbally or outwardly or not, it creates a whole person for yourself, so that when you show up, people know that you're coming from somewhere. And when you leave, people know that you're going somewhere. It gives you an agenda.
You work with Travolta, you work with Bruce Willis, you've worked with De Niro, you work with Hawke. Are all of them different in how they seem to approach acting? Oh yeah, totally, very much so. And it's interesting that way. They're legendary, and they're all very crafty. Yeah. And I consider myself crafty also, but they all have these great theater backgrounds, which is, you know, a totally wonderful thing to understand, because they know how to develop their characters, and they know who they are when they show up, and they know why they're doing things. The layman is watching the story unfold. I'm sitting there watching actors do things that pertain specifically to a character. How consistent can he be with that?
You know, you never know, really, the ins and outs of a person, a personality. I mean, it's hard enough to understand the people in your own family and your own parents, but to imagine that you know the inner life and conflicts and anxieties of a public person, it's very, very difficult, but it's endlessly interesting. It's what makes me want to be an actor. So, I mean, it's my great fun. I think you learn more from the challenging things, the things that are tougher to do. Just because my molecules change in me according to how happy I am, and my creativity gets, what I learn every time out is how to wrangle all the elements that make me love what I do and make it sort of happen effortlessly. And when that doesn't come easily, I don't really have a bag of tricks to go to and know, or a method, you know? I don't. So I come unmoored, and part of that is a very good thing because you have to reassemble. And so it's very good to have to start blank and figure out how to begin again. How to begin again.
Not to seem facile about it, but you do question yourself most of the time because it keeps you sharp, questioning yourself in terms of the work you're doing.
Yeah.
Is this the right thing to do? Is this the right picture? Well, if I have this angle on it. And I mean, constantly, I've said this many times, what was really, at the same time, wonderful and scary is that when you get on the set, you realize every day that, okay, I don't know anything. Okay, I don't know this, I don't know that. I think I know this. Let me work on this area here. And it's constantly a learning experience, which as you get older forces you to try to streamline and just get to the essentials because you have no time to play with all the other stuff.
And one of the things that I think is clearest in sports, but is true in every capacity in life, there are players that make other players better. There are players that win championships, you know, and it has to do with, I think, a psychological stance of putting the whole ahead of the individual. And it's something that I really has been taught to me. It's something I most would like to pass on to my daughter and son. It's important to me really only because that's my life's goal, is to is to contribute and make substantive art, right? But to do it as a collective, because that's how good things get done, as a collective.